Hello, this is Michael, and welcome back to the Learning to Program using Godot game programming engine. In this video, we're going to break down the Guess My Number project. Specifically, we're going to look at Boolean expressions. We used a couple here and we kind of glossed over how they work, so we're going to dive into a little bit more detail. Boolean expressions are an expression that is sort of like a math. It's actually a subset of math called Boolean logic, and there's only two values that can come of a result. That's true and false. They're represented by true, and you see it's highlighted as a keyword in Godot, and false, which is also a keyword in Godot. They can also be used as a variable type, so I could use var, and I can call it value as Boolean true. So this one is now a Boolean value. And you can do logic on them. So I could say Boolean, let's say that equals, and let's make it, let's see, 1 is greater than 0. So that would be true, so this would print as true. Let's put some logic in here for our print. That will happen when we launch it. I'm going to clean up a little bit of this other comments that are in here by default so that we can see what we're doing. So let's move this here. Well, I need to make sure I tab it over. And let's print this. So I'm going to print value as a Boolean, and then let's assign it to something else, and so we can see. So we'll assign it 0 is greater than 1, so that should be false, right? So let's print that again, and we'll see what happens. So what I expect to happen is we'll see this function will run, and when on the startup, and I expect to see true because that's assigned to true, and then I expect it to see false because that's set to false. So there we go. We get true because the value was set to true and we printed it, and then we set it to an expression that would evaluate to be false, and then we printed it and we get false. So here we're using the greater than sign, and there's a few of them. There's greater than, there's less than, there's greater than or equal to. So this would resolve to false, but this would resolve to true, and so would this number would also resolve to 2, or any number greater than 1. Let's see. There's less than or equal to, which is the same thing, it's just in reverse. So this number must be 1, that would be true, but 0 would also be true. However, 3 is greater than, so this would be false. There's the equality operator, which is 2 equal signs, and the reason the equality needs 2 equal signs is because we're using the single equal sign for assignment. So I know this looks a little goofy here to have an equal sign and then a number and then two equal signs. You can also add parentheses around this, just like in math. So if I was going to do 1 plus 2 minus 3, something like that, this is how you would type it out in math, and this also works in programming languages, but the same is true with Boolean logic. So I can do 1 equals 1, and that should work just fine. So in this case, this would equal true because 1 and 1 are equal, and therefore this would be true and this would print true. There's also not equals, which is the reverse. So if 1 is not equal to 1, then that will be true. So in this case, this will actually be false. So let's look at that real quick. So I have my true again from up here, but in this case it's false. If I switch that back to an equal sign, and we'll run that again, it should print true for that one and true as well for this print statement. Alright, so as we saw before when we converted our numbers, strings are not the same as numbers. So if I do the string of 5 equals 5, I actually get an error. It won't even evaluate. I just get an error. And that's because the string of 5 is not equal to the number 5. However, it is able to compare decimal numbers. So the decimal number of 5.0 is equal to 5, right? So let's erase this one. So I only should have one print statement, and it should be true. I deleted my var symbol. So let's start that. There we go. So there's my true, because 5.0 equals 5. Now if I do change this to 5.1, this will not be equal. So now it's false. Also, you can replace these with variables. So I could create a variable called some number and make that 5.0. And then here I could have some number. And so here I'm comparing some number with 5, and so it's going to take whatever the value of some number is, which is going to be 5.0. It's going to compare that, and then that's going to be my value that gets assigned. So in this case it should be true because some number will be replaced with 5.0. That equals to 5, and so true will be in the assigned to that value, and that's what will be printed. There it is. Let's see. I think that's it for now. So that's Boolean logic, and hopefully it makes sense. There's only a few operators, and the equal sign and greater than and less than are the primary ones, and so hopefully those make sense. Alright, thanks.